Hello everyone, my name is Ariana-Dalia Vlad, and I'm an international first year student at Harvard University. I'll be coordinating the online lessons on mechanics. I have been studying physics for quite a few years now, and I'm very excited and grateful for the opportunity to share my passion and its insights with you all. One of the most important things about physics is its universality. Almost everything that lies around us can be explained, understood, or even questioned using concepts in this science. In fact, any object or phenomena depicted in these pictures right here is an example of a physics phenomena in our lives that we might not know yet, but we're very familiar with. Moreover, all these phenomena that I'm talking about can be explained through mechanics. In these lessons, I will try my best to offer examples, scientific background, mathematical equations, and physical intuition that allow you to answer any question that you might have and come up with even more complex questions that you might answer in the future. In fact, some of those questions might have already crossed your mind. For example, it's only natural that you start wondering what makes the planets go around the sun. Perhaps you were in a park, soaking on a swing, and started thinking about what drives such a peculiar motion. There is also much to be said about what we already know to be the tendency of objects to fall right back on Earth. Using concepts in these lessons, we can also try to understand a perpetuum mobile device and debunk the apparent paradox behind its motion. There is also quite a lot to be said about motions of objects in our daily lives, and a good question would be how can an object so massive like a car go up a hill or even stay there? Hopefully, by the end of these lessons, I will have helped you answer all these questions and help you come up with more curiosities for the future. Now that we know that all these questions can be answered through mechanics, a very natural question would be to ask, what is mechanics actually? Well, if we were to give a small one sentence definition to this very broad topic, we'd probably say that it is a branch of physics that deals with the motion of and forces acting on objects that we can see around us. Note that um, mechanics was first considered or studied by people in antiquity. So there's definitely a lot of background and a lot of science that we cover in such a topic. As you can see, mechanics is a broad and complex topic. And for us to understand it more efficiently in these lessons, we will try to divide it in some smaller topics. First, we'll talk about kinematics and how that tells us more about the motion of objects. In that particular field, we'll consider angular motions and how we'll understand how that is a specific case for the general term motion. Then we'll dive into dynamics, which is the study of forces and interactions between bodies. We might be familiar with one specific type of interaction, which would be the gravitation, and it's very important that we understand some concepts that lie within this field as well. Then we'll turn our attention to torque, which might be a confusing concept at first, but once we master it, we will see that it lies quite frequently in actions that we do on our daily lives. Then we'll talk about equilibrium, what it is, what it represents, and why it is so important in our lives. I will construct my lessons around these topics, having your needs and wants at all times in my mind. The meetings will be asynchronous but interactive. I might not be able to see all your lovely faces right now, but I will try to make these lessons as fun as possible through quizzes, fun facts, stories, pretty much anything that can spike your interest and curiosity in the topic. We'll also always consider learning to practice. Although physics is one of the most theoretical sciences, we should never lose sight of the practical side of the phenomenon. That is everything that we see happening around us. Therefore, I'll make sure that any new concept that I present is connected to a phenomena that we might already know or something that we can reproduce, some kind of try it yourself experiments. Note that as we dive into science, we can consider ourselves to become small scientists as well. And for that, we can borrow some of the tools that real scientists use. One of these tricks will be the scientific method. We'll use a variation of this learning method to in our learning process. We'll always ask, ponder, then solve a question or a problem, and we'll always make sure to repeat the process. Remember, learning is a continuous experience, and it doesn't have to happen just in classroom. Just to keep track of our progress, we'll have some goals that we'll always aim for. Note that these goals are always in addition to the learning goals that we'll have for each specific lesson. In our sessions, we will hope that we will understand more about the world around us, that we will match our intuition that we already have with some of the mathematical equations that we will discover in these lectures, that no matter what happens, we continue to ask questions about what is around us or even beyond that. And we will always keep in mind that we have to be proud of ourselves. Nothing is easy in the beginning. If it were, we wouldn't be so driven to understand it. However, the learning experience is full of rewards. No matter how small our progress is in the beginning, and we have to acknowledge that in the beginning, we'll take baby steps towards understanding. We should always find ways to celebrate our dedication. Thank you for embarking in this scientific journey with me. I'm looking forward to our first lesson next time when we will talk about kinematics and how that help us make sense of the body's motion and how we can describe it. Thank you.